The playing ground is uneven. That is just the reality of life. If you have been alive long enough, in fact, if you are older than 10 years, then you do have a basic understanding of that concept, that you are not starting on the same level as other people. The way, or rather the environment that you were raised in, is very different to the environment that other people are raised in. The resources that they have at their disposal is very different, sometimes drastically different to the ones that you have, and that is okay. Those are the cards that you are dealt with, and you have to learn how to work with that and not constantly complain. Obviously, you're bound to ask yourself, why do I have to grovel so hard and start at 0, whereas other people are starting at level 50? That is not fair. And that is just the nature of the life that we have been giving. That is just the order in which things are in the world. Things are not even. Some people have more than others. Some people have more resources than others. Some people have more support than others. Some people they just have more grace and more favor. And you having less does not mean that you are less important than them. It doesn't mean that your life is less valuable than theirs. No, it's just the cards that you dealt with. When God created you, He saw fit that you have the things that you have, and you experience the things that you've experienced, and you basically go through life-changing experiences that shape your character, and they shape the way in which you carry yourself and the way that you think, and they basically formulate the manner in which you channel your emotions and how you process your emotions while you're going through certain things. So you will be different to the next person. There will always be a person who will have every single thing that you are working towards. They didn't work for it. Their parents worked for it, or their grandparents worked for it, and they're just reaping the benefits of somebody else's labor, who planted and nurtured that seed and it grew, and now they're just enjoying the fruits. And that is just the reality of it. Whereas you could be coming from a family where no one did that, and you have to be the first person that plants that seed and nurtures it and waters it and takes care of it in order for it to bear fruit. You might sometimes be the one person that your family needs in order to establish and change the course of the entire bloodline. So you will not start at the same level. And I think it is very important that when you find yourself in situations like that where everyone has more than you, and that will be the case for a significant number of people, in truth, the worst thing that you can possibly do in a situation like that is to compare yourself to people that have more than you. Please don't do that, because you're only hurting yourself, and you are stunting your growth in a way, and you're questioning now every single thing that you have done, and you see it as though it doesn't amount to anything in comparison to what other people have, that some did not even work for. So do not do yourself such a huge disservice. Comparison is the worst possible thing that you can do to stunt your progress, to stunt your emotional and mental health, to even affect your spiritual well-being, because now you are constantly comparing yourself, and you have these questions and you have these thoughts, and that might lead you towards carrying out certain actions that are devious, because you are comparing yourself to these people, and constant comparison breeds envy, and envy might result in you doing something that is very, very detrimental to that other person. You might hurt them in a certain way. You might speak negatively about them. You might do just about everything to bring them down a notch and to cut them to the size that you think they should be, simply because they didn't work for the things that they have. So never compare yourself to another person. So the playing ground in that way is certainly uneven. And one thing I can recommend is that you constantly focus on bettering yourself, constantly focus on acquiring new skills, focus on the things that you can learn, focus on how you can invest in yourself, acquire the skills that will enable you and put you in the position that you want to be in. And whether those skills would make you more money, which is essentially what most people want, whether you want to be in a better mental state, whether you want to be in better physical shape. So you work towards that. So instead of wasting your effort while you comparing yourself to other people, why don't you channel that effort and you direct it towards yourself, and you work on yourself as much as you can and commit to yourself as much as you can. Commit to bettering yourself every single chance that you get. In that way, you will fill that void over time, obviously, because good things take time. So you will fill that internal void of not having enough or lacking in certain areas of your life. If you consistently work towards yourself and you better yourself, and it will put you in the position that you desire. And don't make the mistake of hating a person simply because they are born into a family that has given them the resources freely. If somebody is born in a family like that and they have everything that you're working towards, that does not grant you the right to then dislike them and hate them solely because they have more than you. You don't move like that. No, that is the wrong approach. Instead, you can speak more to those people and see what are the things that you can learn from them. Some of them didn't acquire it themselves, but they have preview to certain lessons and certain ways, for example, ways in which they handle money that has been passed down from all the generations onto them. So they can share that with you. There's a lot of things that you can get from people that have more than you, especially in terms of resources. So instead of hating on them, why don't you embrace them as a resource? Because a person with knowledge is essentially a resource. You embrace them and you learn from them.